Good morning, traders, and welcome to the live trading webinar event here with JTrader. So he's a stocks trader. We do this every Wednesday. He comes in a little bit later. He's finishing up with his trading room. He does offer mentorship, so if you guys like what you see here, then you can reach out to him and also get services from JTrader. You guys know who he is, or if you don't, read this. We do it every Wednesday. You've got his contact information. I'll be putting this into the chat for you. We'll go through the disclosures, and then we're going to jump right into the S&P E-mini. Go through that until JTrader jumps into the market here or into the chat. Okay, so general disclosure. Now this is important that everyone knows what you're getting involved with live trading here, because it is in demo paper trading mode. And all Bookmap materials, information, and presentations are only for educational purposes and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Live trading is in simulation demo paper trading mode and strictly for educational purposes. Live trading executed in simulation cannot accurately represent realistic trading performance. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. An investor could potentially lose all or more than the initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security nor lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, let's jump in. Let's take a look here. Wild day. We were kind of anticipating this earlier in the week. That's why we had a couple choppy days in there. So as everybody is pretty well aware of, we're waiting for some data here. We got it. So the CPI data here, numbers were good. Obviously, this is not good for not showing to be good for the market here. Typically, it is, but in this inflationary environment, this is not good. It just means that the Fed is watching this data and that they will likely continue to raise rates. Therefore, it's going to be harder for businesses to make profits with money costs more to borrow, etc. All right, just simple stuff here. You guys know all that. And we have also retail sales coming up, I believe, on Friday, right? So we have more data coming out. We have another very important economic event. And yeah, we can see the quick move to the downside here, and then the back and forth in here. All right, so let's take a look at the bigger picture. We've been looking at that, and here's Monday, Tuesday, and then here Wednesday. Yeah, this is something that we were looking for the bigger picture move to the downside from the daily chart, and some really difficult kind of choppy days. It looks like on the daily is like pretty simple trading here. On the hourly, this was really kind of a mess. Hard to read the hourly here, up, down, etc. But we on the 15-minute chart, we had our bias here to the downside, anyway, it's been playing out, and then the CPI data, it just really broke here. Okay, so anyway, I hope you guys have been making some good decisions based on higher time frame, and then looking at the book map here to get the order flow within that higher time frame. So do we have any levels here in general we want to take a look at? Yeah, we do, down here on this hourly chart. Okay, so these swings down here, this is where we found buyers previously. Okay, a lot here. In fact, look at this move. Okay, now let's take a look at that move. In fact, move to the upside. This is like a flag pattern. Basically, all it means is strong move, a pause, followed by another strong move. And then we can see we gapped here on the hourly on Sunday evening, and then we had the Monday and Tuesday, and then now we're down here. Okay, so back down into, basically there's going to be a high volume node down in here on your higher time frame chart, and some of these swings down here. This is where we want to look to see people cover, as well as buyers start to come in potentially. Maybe try to scoop it up down here at a discount. All right, so some things to consider. Yeah, we might see a squeeze back up into and fill the gap here. As you can see, pretty big gap is trying to do that right now from the end of the cash session yesterday to the beginning of the cash session today. So these are regular trading hours only. Okay, so we can see the gaps. That's why I have it up like this. Yeah, so let's see if we can get enough buyers to come back up into about 38.10, something like that. Let's look at Bookmap. Okay, that's a level of interest. Okay, so 38.10. Where is it? It would be up around here. And is there anything else kind of aligned here? Not really. It looks like a little bit higher, to be honest, in Bookmap. Somewhere probably around this 38.18 looks better to me. We do have this level around 3800, which makes sense, the figure, and we have some liquidity there blazed right on through it with the CPI data. Let's just zoom into this this move in here. Let's take a look at some of these clusters in here and start to mark some of these areas up to give us some insight. Okay, so nice little cluster in here. Now this is going to be kind of hard because we had some I had some rhythmic data issues. I can as well if you guys have some questions about that. So anyway, we're marking up levels right now and trying to see like where price might go back up and retest, and that 10 level doesn't really fit. I'm sorry, maybe it does right in through here. That's about 10. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, I don't mind that. So let's take a look at current market and see what's going on, and then we'll also look at the downside levels as well. A lot of liquidity up here. A lot of liquidity up here. Yeah, our levels are above that liquidity though. Okay, there you can see that they're at 3800 and below. All right, well, let's take a look at the other levels here. On the downside, it's basically on this hour chart, somewhere between 52 and 43 or something around there. So let's take a look at Bookmap. Okay, just marking up, very simple levels here, but we want to look around, what's happening at those levels with liquidity. We're matching them up. Okay, we're looking for something to unfold at those areas. So 50 is pretty straightforward, and then 43 or so down a little bit lower, and look at 3700 down here. Anyway, all right, so we got some levels to take a look at, and now let's take a look at the action of what's happened after the event and what's happening here. Okay, so guys, pretty straightforward as well. In here, as you guys can see, we have the move down, sideways consolidation here, and a breakout, and now we're accepting up here. Okay, so it's still accepting up here. So then we're looking for buyers here, not sellers, for this to try to go back up into the range, right? You can look at your profiles in here, maybe 3790. Okay, but what's going on here in the order book? Well, there's quite a bit of liquidity here at 3780. We're not finding too many buyers here. We're looking actually for sellers here, and maybe we can break the range and then head down to 70 and then 60. Okay, and where do we draw the bottom of the range? It's actually 55 here. Okay, but liquidity down here at 70 and 60. Why don't I have the on chart stops and icebergs? Just because typically just for the demo purposes in here, just trying to keep it kind of clean and simple. Looking at we have it in the sub chart. If we have some questions about it in the sub chart here, we'll turn it on and take a look at it. Okay, it's a good point. I just don't want to, I want to kind of focus on market structure, volume, and liquidity right now. Just three elements in here, and look at our higher time frame levels. This is what it's all about: higher time frame levels and liquidity around it, or market activity around it, which includes volume or transactions and the liquidity. All right, so where are players lined up to deal or trade? That's what we're looking for. Okay, so here we got some insight, right? We found some buyers here. Okay, whereas before we didn't, right? We're watching this area very closely, and you know, it can trap some sellers, pull away. Now that we covered this yesterday, we've been covering these concepts for years. Here is our consolidation. Here is our move away from that area. All right, they're not going to come back down to this area here. Okay, they're going to pull away and stop people out. Okay, or the market will pull away and stop people out. Okay, now once it stopped people out, maybe it will come back down and dip down, not only into this range here, not only to the bottom of the range, but then also break. Okay, but right now the market is searching for traders. It's finding them via people exiting by stops here. Okay, so that's one of the conditions we want to understand here in within the order flow. It's an important one. Okay, once you hit the sell button in here, it's really important to understand our position is now a buyer, and these are people buying here. Okay, now we can look at that information because we have the stops and icebergs, and start to understand, like, wow, this is a lot, you know, 100.5 or so. This is where I need to turn it on. So that's a good point. And take a look at it in here. Okay, show icebergs, and let's get to, yeah, you notice how like you'll need to kind of maybe deselect and reselect and get this automatic mode here. I like the mode, that the setting that I have here. I have it'll show the other filtered icons here, but only at a transparency of 50%, and if it's above or at 285 or above, then it will it'll show here on the chart. Okay, without the transparency. All right, so we're getting kind of a lot of, you know, smaller transactions in here. All right, now we went over this concept quite a bit yesterday. Does this make sense to you guys? You understand, like you know, down at the bottom of this range, you know, we had high liquidity here. Typically what we look for is, how does the market react to this high liquidity here? Do we find more sellers? We started to, and then buyers came in and traded into it and through it. Okay, stop people out, and now we're trading back down to it here. So now the market again is searching for liquidity. It needs orders to trade. So are we going to find you know, anyone that maybe bought in here? Are we going to find them in here, and they're going to be sellers down below? Okay, not yet. We're not ready yet. Okay, maybe we need to accumulate more buyers, attract more buyers. Where would we attract more buyers? We made a higher high up in here. Okay, maybe it'd even come back up to 90.
Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Joseph. All right, just a moment. There's a question here. Please mention the level instead of saying here. Okay. Yeah, I'll try to do that. Good point. All right, guys. Well, yeah, now you can see the break. Actually looking for the break to continue here, and not just down to here at 75. I want to see it go down to 70 now. The sellers can take control of this and move it away, and then get more sellers on the hook, and then watch the retest back to 75. You know, something like that. Anyway, some different scenarios to consider here by understanding the order flow and the traders within the order flow. All right, enough said. It's Joseph's show here. Let's turn it over to Joseph and let him take it away. We're here for the stocks, and let's get to it here. So there's Joseph.
Ready to go, Bruce?
I am ready now. Yes. How are you,
All
Joseph?
right. Thank you, buddy. I'm very good. Glad to have you back.
Yeah,
It was
thank you.
great, but you know, you're the host.
Yeah. We had Sam last week. He did a great job with you guys, and with
He
you,
did a great
Joseph.
job.
Yeah,
He did.
yeah. So
So today I was looking at the main gappers. I was looking at Tesla. Yes, we had CPI. Tesla. Yes, market dumped. And then I was looking at this stock, IS, which is a stock with a 2 billion market cap. So it's not a small cap company. We have a 354 million float, an institutional ownership of around 22%, and a pre-market gap high of, a pre-market gap of 48%. The pre-market volume traders, okay, so we're talking about pre-market only until 9:30 over here, had traded already 36 million plus. Now we are about at 72 million, okay, so 31 million over here, 72 million. And this is not, as I said, the usual small cap that just like pump and dumps. I shared this chart over here this morning, and I need to go over a few things with you because you're going to understand how to read it and how to, I would say, see the change of bias, see also the risk management. So we always show, we always look at the levels to trade. And I was looking at my daily chart over here. So I came, I read the news. So news over here on IS is basically we have earnings, okay? Surges after Unity Software agrees to acquire in 4.4 billion all stock deal. Okay, so we have a merger, and over here we have only merger agreement. Okay, only merger agreement. So we had over here levels, and I set precise levels at 375 because I was looking at this main dip in this top. And then I was looking at this other level over here, 418. I was looking at this other level over here. So I'm looking at levels where we had rejection or we had bounce. I also had to put my support because over here there's gap fill, right? So we have a support 314 and then a support 304. So start looking at what happened this morning. All right, so what do you see over here? Those red lines are the levels that we put before. So the price was going up straight. You can see this morning making higher lows. This is a 5-minute chart. At a certain point, we found this level over here of resistance, and you can see the price started to be pretty lateral. That price action is what you can see over here in this area, okay? So we were ranging from a $3 level until a 320. I started to short over here, and the plan for me was, yes, this is a $1 billion company. I'm still looking for a short because I have a very low risk area to short into. So I started to have this resistance over here, okay? I will try to zoom in so you can see this better. Okay. So that area over here is over here, 3 and 320. I started seeing all these push into that 320, and I saw a big seller on the times and sales. So over here in Bookmap, I had times and sales. Now at the moment I deleted it. And then over here, you can see another push to this 317, 316, and then sellers again. And then another push again over here to 317, 318, and then seller again. The last sell-off over here, so this one, you can see that started to make a wick downside over here. So we had some exhaustion. In my plan, I was streaming over here. My plan, I said, I'm risking traders 320. Right away, instantly, and I know that we're around 644, 645. We know that, in proximity of 7 o'clock, we can have like a surging volume. So I said, it's 320, I need to cut, okay? So this setup over here that I traded, I call top in action, okay? So you can see all these stops into Bookmap, and this for me is a perfect reason to short. Often these, when I trade pre-market, but even in big caps works a lot, or on futures. But in pre-market especially, they tend to work very good because I have a very low risk. As I said, my average was around 310, 312. I was trading on multiple accounts. And my risk was 320. I know that on that breakout, we'll have a burst in volume, so I have to be super quick to cut, okay? And you can see once we cut it, I got out around 322, 323. So I lost something like between 7-10 cents. We started having like a burst in volume over here. So the volume rose over here. So strong, we passed from having an average of 200K per 5-minute bar to an average over here above 500K. So remember, we passed from 100, 200K maximum to 500, 600, even 700K. All right, so more than double of the average. And once we had this breakout of 320, so we're talking about this level, I didn't short anymore. It was too late for me to take a long. So what I did, I waited. Okay, I waited. I started looking at the stocks. I saw this big $4 resistance, and I was planning to take a short. The fact is that we went into the 390s. I didn't have, 396 or 398. And I didn't short over here, all right? I didn't short because I was still a little bit far from that 4. So I waited and I didn't take this first dump that you can see over here. We went back down all the way to the 90 MA. Okay. Now look, where's the trick? Imagine Bruce and traders. It's like I started at 6 o'clock. Now it's 10 past. It's more than 4 hours. I'm looking at the tape. When I'm saying the tape means order flow, level 2, times in sales. And the chart, of course. So I saw every single print. And the volume that this stock had pre-market was huge, really, really huge. You could see tons of big players, ton of blocks passing over here. So at a certain point, I started seeing one of these over here, a big seller. And then the same seller probably moved down over here. And then another player is like sweeping, right? So he's like putting over here like resistance. So they're trying to hold it below 330. Now, one possibility is that this player over here, I don't believe he really wants to sell over here. I believe more that he's doing this to hold the price down so that probably him or his group over here, they're acquiring, okay, at lower prices for then pushing this back up again. Okay, this is a possibility. We don't know for sure, but that could be a possibility of how I was reading, looking at the tape, looking at the absorption over here that we had. We had a big buy over here around 310, this level over here. Remember, this 310 that I'm pointing over here on my chart is also level of daily. And then they start like to push it. So I saw traders getting long at this level and this level. So basically we had this dip over here around 330. And then we had this break over here of 350s, okay? So precisely over here. So what do you see over here? In this, I remember one of the first time I spoke with Bruce, we were looking over all the possible setups that we had. And as you know, I trade always, the short with the stair-step pattern that I like so much. Over here, we had the opposite. So we had like a stair to the upside. We had a buy over here, buy over here, buy over here, buy over here. So we're really uptrending. There's like somebody or, a group over here that is guiding over here the price all the way up. Okay, so this is a perfect scenario, traders, of I would say an important buyer, a solid buyer, or more than one, they are like moving the price all the way up. And now now comes the third. And over here is where I shorted. So I need to zoom out to show you the full picture. So remember what we did, okay? So the first point over here, I will call it A, is where I shorted. And then over here, sorry, over here precisely is A, where I shorted. B, I stopped it. And as I said, I shared executions of my charts in the boiler room. So I showed over here on the chart A, and I stop exactly over here at B. Then once this was grinding, I was not shorting front side, because look over here. If you can see now the trend, seeing all this multitude over here of white or gray prints, okay? So these dots over here in control are gray, means that these are buyers. This is demand. At a certain point, Bruce, if you're over here, can you help me 1 second? What we see over here, we see a big stuff in this main level. So just look over here at the top, who comes in at point C? We have sellers. So push right away. When we have it pushed again to the previous high of 387, 390, we have sellers jumping in. So this is a supply area. Okay, so all this to tell you that I shorted here, exactly that point, and now I'm still holding with trailing half over here in case things go against me, and target over here. My risk was this. So now you can calculate the RF return. I cover only 25% here. So that's what I mean. It's important of risk management to cut when something doesn't work, because I short over here and I stopped over here. And then I reshort over here with that risk covering 25%. So I'm ready, like, probably 4 times, actually, no, sorry, more. Maybe like 6, 7 times more what I stopped out, okay? Now I didn't calculate the R yet. And now I'm waiting for the break of the support for a possible unwind. Any question, traders, about this trade, this chart? If you want, I will share after in Bookmap also. We'll put in the stocks and room. But for me, it was very important to clear this. Don't short when something is going against you. Stop it. Don't add to a losing position. Don't scale in on something like this. We're talking about a billion-dollar company. You don't have to do that. Okay, this is to prevent big risk. And my bears totally agree with me, because on a position like this, you can really lose a ton of money if the stock simply continues to go and grinds against you. I saw some big traders blowing up in the past doing this kind of trades. Okay, it's like shorting front side Tesla and adding and adding and adding and adding and adding. Don't do it. Okay, that's the first most important thing.
Joseph, yeah, I was kind of scrambling here to find something. There was an event back in 2011 that kind of defined what spoofing was. And I have a link in here. I'll share it in YouTube and in, hold on again, let me find it here. In YouTube as well as in Discord. That exactly what you're showing is you're spot on. It was kind of almost exactly the same as this spoofing incident, to get price to go lower and then cover to get price to go higher, and then they also looks like they spoofed on the other side as well to get price to go back down again, and then they're covering down again right where it is now. And I can't really quite understand what's going on here at the moment, but there's a lot of liquidity now down at this level. Yeah, let me just share I'll just leave it at that. It's too complex to go into it, but exactly the way that you covered it I
Bruce, can
think,
you also put it, please, into the advanced bookmap trading room?
yes, yeah. Um, I'm just going to call it spoofing case, just for
Okay.
simplicity right now. There you guys go. Take a look at that in Discord, and then also in YouTube here. You'll have to kind of read through it. It's not so pleasant, but it, and you can do more research on it to find out about it. But exactly what Joseph is going through there, the process, pushing price down, getting involved, letting price come back up, and then look at the underneath there, like manipulating the order book on the bid on the way back up, to get price to go back up near that, yeah, in there, and then to get price to go back up into those orders resting up there. Beautiful. I mean,
Exactly.
it worked like a charm here, and no question.
Exactly. And we're talking about a 2 billion company. The same thing traders will see like on a 30 billion company. The same thing we'll see like on a 50 million market cap company. So what Bruce is saying is that even through the years, the same, I would say, pattern, the same scenario worked again. And I will say that this works on a daily basis. Okay. So for me, it's like waiting those levels or to buy or to short. And by saying this is a daily level. Okay. This red line that you see. Daily level alone tells me nothing if I can add that, I would say, support the thesis with, the order flow, the seller joining in, the levels over here of sellers also on Bookmap. And then also I like to see the chart pattern. Okay. So like this small distribution pattern over here that we can see. And the same thing for the long. This red line that you see over here, even if I didn't take the long this morning, the red line over here that you see, it's a daily support, daily level. At the same time, we have what? Exhaustion to the downside and buyers stepping in. So two main point areas, opposite areas, 3 and 380, that define the level where you have to trade. Okay. So of course, you take the entry over here, could be a starter, then you add to your position, you can add to your position, and you can have a massive win. But those are the levels to trade.
Yeah, and look how, I mean, this is where, look, I it's not really, I'm not trying to plug Bookmap here, but you can understand what's going on here in some of these moves by understanding the order flow, and it's visible, it's visualized here in Bookmap. That's very helpful. You can go along with it instead of like, be against it. You can use this to your advantage. Obviously, they have a lot more power than we do, and you can ride along with it.
Exactly.
And that's an edge, no question. JTrader took advantage of it here, and had just a beautiful trade.
Exactly. So as Bruce said, is don't try to fight the big orders. Don't try to fight the big ass the institutionals. Instead, take advantage of them. Okay, take advantage of the situation. Personally, traders, I I like to see these levels working for me. Okay, working for me. So if I see one of these levels going against me, all right, I'm not going to trade it. And over here, I just want to show you that just in that moment, I explain it. Start a short position on IS, and I said over here at 8 o'clock, this point, you see, 2 o'clock over here is my time. That's mean 8 o'clock, risking 390, as just I said over here, and then showing my charts below. So that is where we shorted. That is where we risked. That is where I covered 25%. And now I said something more. So look over here, Bruce, this amount of liquidity that we have. After the open, seems like everybody who wants to trade over here. Remember, we have a merger news. And the point for me is I need to lock in profits. If this stock, let's say for any kind of reason, high volume jumps in, starts to curl and, could even go back up 380. So in my point, thank you, my beer. In my point over here, I'm trailing half of what I have at 345, just above this high liquidity area. So I'm giving it time to the trade to breathe a little bit, okay? So in case, let's say the trade starts going up at 345, having the average around 380, I'm gonna trail half of my position. Do I have to cover over here anything? No, we're just like, again, in this trading range, just like we had this morning. So there's no point over here covering, and then, we can have a massive sell-off till 280 or 290 where I have my orders ready to get covered, okay? So try always to analyze, traders, this, where you have the sellers, once you're in a trade, where I should trail. Because nowadays it became very easy to take the trade, but it's not easy instead to say trail, put the correct risk, and I would say improving the R return from your trade. This is really what changes your account and make it grow, okay? Makes it grow, sorry. Now, I wanna go over here. Soon I will go over on Tesla, which was my other play of the day. And yeah, the stock over here, IS, has a ton of big sellers. I need to show you though also over here times in sales. So we're gonna put times in sales because you have to see what prints we have on this stock. So remember before I started talking like 10 minutes ago, we had 71 million. We already printed 13 millions in about what, 10, 15 minutes of trading together over here. So times in sales on something like this, I suggest you, this is my tip that I give you for, looking at the tape and looking in this case at times in sales, try to have two times in sales. One like this default, and then one blocks. At least you want to see over here something above 15K minimum share size, okay? So you go over here and you're gonna print, for example, 15,000. And then you can see only the block orders. So 50, 60, 100K orders printing, okay? Plus, you can have one where you simply see, the default size. So you can see over here that for now, we have traders buying or probably even covering over here if we have some big seller, some big short seller. And we're just like against that 333. What I can do right now, just wait. There's no point for me over here to, as I said before, to add on this weakness. So we just need to hold over here. Beautiful tape, really beautiful tape. If somebody had the recorder today, please, if it wants to share the, even the link with me, this would be very instructive, maybe to do a lesson, only look at this tape together. So yes, I want to see if we can break this 328, right? The point is, each time we get to this dip, we have buyers stepping in. Now let's look over here. Main seller and 331. Remember, we had tons over here of main sellers, okay? So this is a bigger seller than usual. So they stack over here some liquidity. And you can see they're refilling, okay? We are at 90,000, back over here to 115. So let's look at the structure over here. So over here, they clear all the liquidity at 331. Just look over here, right? They're selling, selling, selling. They continue to sell. Somebody's absorbing it, of course. So they're holding this dip at 330. And now they're starting to, grind it back up. Probably we're going to touch again this 335, which is the trend line. I want to look this together with you. Full of buyers constantly. Money was over here, remember? Three.
Yeah.
We're going to watch this for another few minutes, and then we're going to move traders to Tesla, okay? You just need to see over here because I'm in this trade. And, looking at a stock with this kind of volume doesn't happen really every day. So something to learn over here today. So you can see that, and I'm going to point out with this, every single dip that we have a small washout over here, right? So they're breaking the support and then reclaiming it, breaking the support, reclaiming it, breaking the support, reclaiming it. And at the same time, we're making lower highs. Again, holding this 330, 329. Sellers over sellers, but at the same time, buyers. All right, let's look at Tesla. We can come back later on that. Okay, so I had a position overnight on Tesla. This is an hourly chart that you can see. Okay, so you can see I also placed my fibs. They were updated to yesterday in pre-market. This morning, we had a push over here. So it opened, it went to 708 during the CPI. And then right away, they dumped. Okay, so yes, coming all the way down. Tesla over here breaking this uptrend line. And then main fail over here around 670. This morning I had double scenario plan over here for what was Tesla. My A+ setup was looking for more unwind. So looking for a fail below over here, this 680, 670, and I was looking for this uptrend line. Trend line that we start back over here on the 16th of June. Okay, so perfect trend line dip, another dip over here. And I was looking for ideally that target. At the open, I took 6 points on Tesla short. So I saw this push over here to the 682. I started shorting over here, 682. And look what I saw, 930 over here, all right? Look what I saw, traders, over here. We went to that 684. I saw some resistance, more 685. So decent level for me where to start a short position. I started to see some sellers over here, and I covered partially to the 676. So once we washed over here, 676. And the reason why I was covering in partial was this. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. Look at that amount of buyers we have. Now, doesn't mean we have a support like this, and you can see a main wall of buyers between 668 and 675 that is not going to drop, okay? Because if we had ES fading and the overall market fading, Tesla would have failed as well. But over here, ES was starting to bounce a little bit, and that is the reason why to trim partial. And then when it came up, I took a few scalps over here. I added to my position, so it didn't work over here, 935, and back up. So I trailed in the money. And then I took some long over here. I didn't hold it, 938. Took some long on this wash into this 682. Why? For a confluence on multiple factors. And I will put over here this chart. So this is the level that I longed. Was 682 exactly here, because we had basically 90 MA, J lines, VWAP, and it was also a main support. So once we started seeing this dip, I then looked for, okay, are we going to have now buyers? You can see buyers came very strong. I took a few bucks, so I missed, all this big first part of the move. 2020, of course, this was a beautiful long, but I didn't hold. My idea was to look for a short this morning and only, looking to scalp the long side. Market starting instead to pick up after this 1020, okay? So just like before we started to do the webinar over here. Let me see over here. Okay, market started to pick up. And now look what a beautiful curl we had. This around 1015. And now look at the volume. That is. And as we said before, doesn't mean if we have a wall of sellers that we won't breach through it, okay? You can see over here, we broke, we consolidated more, and this now is continuing to push. So I thought of bonds from the market over here. Again, once I miss, the dip too long over here, I'm not really looking to jump in on the train while it's still running. So I'm simply waiting over here for now. Still strong, high volume. What I'm going to do now is put in again my fibs. So we're going to do this together. So I made a video about how to place fib levels. I'm taking over here the relative high, the main relative high of the period, and putting this to the low. So tracing the top to the low over here. I see right now we are at the 50% level at 725. Next one is at 737, 61%. And the previous one was at 38% over here, 712. So you can see that the levels are working pretty good. For example, once we got the 23%, we bounced perfectly from here. And now we are rejecting partial over here, 725. If we move to a lower time frame, 5 minutes, you can see this even better. So dip into the 23%, small rejection 712 for 38%, stuffed over here to the 725%. So nice stuff. Stuff is this break of resistance 50% and then unwinding. Is this an A+ setup to short? No. Right now the market is strong. We are uptrending. Yes, it's still holding as well the uptrend. So staying over here with Tesla, looking only for possible long scenarios. So I did 38%. Bouncing back up again. So what I'm looking is my levels, okay? I'm not interested in trading this unless I have my levels over here. The level that I'm waiting is again 50% consolidation above and then ideally long, or 38%. We have to wait for that. Projecting over here in the 90 MA. Again, no big follow through, so simply waiting. Go back to IS. So sideways over here on this support. We have more liquidity over here now above. So on the ask, 334, 335. You can see that we had first resistance. This is a great approach. And decent position over here. So in terms of size, so good trade. Level that I'm looking for is this 3 till 315, and then looking for this 290, which this is actually one of my main targets. Now they're forming support 331. So really narrow consolidation. But here we have ads. Tell me, Bruce.
No, just to reiterate, I mean, like, I just love, I love what you do. I love the way you handle things here, Joseph. This is trading. Like, you're waiting for your setup.
We have to wait. We have to wait. So it's not, to make money, we need to trade 12 hours a day. You have to stay, if you want, in front of the screen even 14 hours a day or 16 hours a day. But I mean, you can make money in the first 30 minutes or midday for 30 minutes, 1 hour. So, and for me, it's that waiting. Okay, no A+ setup. Need to be disciplined. I've seen so many traders, Bruce, because I mentor them, that they come to me and they have a habit of over trading, like thinking that the more you trade, the more you can grow faster your account. And it's a double sword. The more you trade, you even get more tired, you lose focus. And I see instead who is doing the best work is actually trading maybe 1, 2, 3 stocks. Could be an advanced or pro trader, so maybe trades even 4 stocks or 4 assets or 2 assets, like your 4 products. But generally 1 or 2 trades per day, they are more than enough if you really pinpoint the entries, if you know how to trade them, if you wait for those spots like we did over here in IS. And again, I'm gonna re-explain, we're short from this area over here. Okay, so in live, not over here with disclaimer on Bookmap. We're trading over here live from this level over here, and we're holding for ideally this 290, trailing 345, half of the position left, which right now the position is updated at 75 of the initial trade. The only regret, if I can say that, is to have missed this long opportunity, because this morning dip was perfect, but I was simply not on, I missed the timing over here. That's the main point. So right now they're breaking final 329. Let's look, traders. Let's look, because this is really slow, okay? This is really slow. So I want to see what it does. Okay, first breakdown. Now we have to be careful, because when you see a breakdown, you will want to trade short. Don't do it. Okay, don't do it. And a stock like this, you see the breakdown 2 seconds later with this kind of volume can go at 334, and then you say, oh, that was a washout long. So careful doing this stuff.
Joseph, how do you recommend we get over that feeling to and that need to constantly trade?
That's a good question. I would say that results is what gives you conviction and confidence. So results could be by journaling, by back testing what you're doing. So really looking at all the setups that you had, and then seeing when you overtraded. So really keep like a blog, like a diary, and look at the performance that you had when you overtraded, or simply when you traded your setups, your playbook, how was the performance? Of course, this always, having the first statement that you're a profitable trader and that your trading setup is profitable. Okay, but analyzing really this journaling and having a diary, and I believe it's very important in passing from being a beginner to a more experienced and advanced trader. So do it, traders. I personally keep it's a template that I have, and it's a sheet about my trading under the point of view of technical and also the emotional point of view, right? So if I had FOMO, revenge trading, or let's say oversized or didn't respect my stops. So a lot of this, it's what you have to track. And now again, we can see over here, buyers came back again at this support 3035. So it's just slowing, unwinding over here. Remember, we have the previous relative low at 324.
Joseph, we've got a string of questions in here. Sorry, guys. I've been kind of busy typing away for a few different reasons. There's been some data issues today due to the volatility. But anyway, let's get to Ninja for Hire. Is talking about what you call the stuff on some of these wicks. This was a while back, but could have been a small pullback or no. So maybe you want to explain a little deeper why it's a stuff.
I guess maybe the trader was referring to this level over here.
I'm not sure, but I guess the simple answer is like it's a stuff when it goes into high liquidity.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly. And
very
right
very
away,
quick move into high liquidity.
exactly, we can see it over here. If you just check right now, BOXD, you'll see what a stuff is. So we went into that 210. So I'm gonna open over here Bookmap on BOXD. So again, when you have Bookmap, you can see this even better than normal. So you can see that we get into this 210. Now, first, what you have to do, of course, you have to go and check your levels. So you'll put over here previous resistance. another level, gap fill, main relative high. Now we can check, because there's so much to do over here before you start taking a short or start taking a long. Of course, we can put this low, and now we are ready to take the fibs. So we're going to go all the way down. All right. Now we're ready to look at our chart. Let's go to a 1 minute. And over here, we see that we have the fib level at around 211. We touch over here the 210. So trendline break immediately over here, dumped. Okay, so you have a stuff of the move. So it touched over here the 210. And then over here, they really pulled the base. So it means we had a base over here around 207, 208. They pulled it, boom, dump. Somebody over here had to unload. It's not the proper stuff. Stuff is more when you have this kind of scenario. So you have a resistance. We have a resistance like before we're looking at IS, and then they do like this. So they fake you out, and then you have the unwind. The same thing, wash out long. Okay, so the same exact thing. So over here, BOXD is not a stuff. It's a stall and a removal of a base. It's very different than a stuff. To be precise, okay? To be precise.
Okay, let's see here. I think there was some other.
And back to 330. And back to 330. It's normal, traders. We held over here the support. We're still below this downtrend line. They're just like, now it's in a channel over here, just like in a channel. There we are.
Ninja for Hire was also asking about, do you draw your levels off low volume days?
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, because by experience, those low volume days, if, for example, it can be even like, the point of intersection of multiple days. If you go, for example, seeing a lot of these stocks right now, especially in the small cap land, they will reject even on low volume days. So it's, of course, the order flow is the timing. But let's say that I have a low volume day at 210, 211. And we touched maybe the level 2 or 3 times in the past. Maybe one day was the relative low, one day was the close of the daily bar, and so on. And then I see in intraday a pattern formation plus order flow confirming a sell-off, or vice versa if we are long. So a big purchase, okay, so big buying pressure, then yes, I'm gonna consider that level as well. At least this is what I do, and it really works. Okay, it really works.
And then Eden is asking about Tesla and your position.
Okay, no, I'm not anymore on Tesla. I missed a big move, and I took a long, as I said this morning, exactly after this washout over here. That, you see the washout, traders? Yeah, breakdown.
Beautiful.
Boom, long. Yeah, the only problem, I sold everything over here. I really held something like, for a pizza until over here. Don't ask me why. I didn't trade all of this. Okay, so don't ask me why. Fib levels work very good. Bookmap worked good. Setup was there. I simply was not there mentally to trade Tesla. That's it. What I can say in my defense, I took short yesterday from here down till here, streamed, shared live in the room, and the same thing the day before. Tesla is my best stock to trade. Options and stock have a very high win rate because basically I learned in the last 4 years to trade as big cap. This is one of my exclusive setups. Means that I'm really confident when I trade Tesla. So I can trade large size position. I know exactly when I want to stop, when I will need to stop. I know exactly when I will to trade, trail, and it's basically you get familiar. I was saying to a trader yesterday, if you are, let's say let's say you go out with a person, okay, with a partner, still not your partner. The first day, first week, you're still not, familiar to this person. You have to know his or her habits, how he reacts, laughs, smiles, when he's joyful, sad, mad. And then after 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, maybe after 10 years, you have even too much of it. But the point is, you will get very familiar with it. And you will know every aspect. The same thing when you trade a stock or an asset or like a future or a crypto, the more you do the same process every single day, the more you will get familiar to every single thing about that stock or that future, right? You will know everything. And you will learn to, sometimes to be even faster, and you will know how it reacts, or you can even sometimes predict a possible move. That's what happens with me with Tesla.
Yeah, that's you're an expert in it.
But it's normal, Bruce. I mean, like the more time you stay on something, even if you are a beginner, even if you never open a chart in your life, and I put you right now 2 years steady on Tesla, trust me, of course, during this time you have to study, okay? But of course, you will know everything about Tesla. You will become an expert by Tesla. I really doubt if somebody is interested in learning to trade, that after so much long time, trading only one product or watching the product every single day, studying it, that you will become expert on that. And to trade, to make a living, I mean, I have friends that are trading only SPX or SPY options or ES, that's it, one product. They're making their living, okay?
Yeah, that's really really pearls of wisdom in here, Joseph, every week.
Those two
And
glasses of wine at lunch.
I, what's that?
Probably those 2 glasses of wine at lunch, they're talking.
I miss the lifestyle so much over there in Italy or San Marino. But um, you know, I'm getting back to these kind of more of the wisdom again. Like, I understand you go to the gym often, you work out. It's a big part of your life. What I'm kind of the question is geared toward that sort of discipline that you have about working out methodically, or other things that you do in your life. Has that helped you here with your patience in trading, and also waiting for something specific, or knowing exactly the process that you're going through?
2/3 of the multimillionaire in the world served in a military corps. Military corps give you a lot of discipline. I never served. Of course, I live in San Marino, and over here, the maximum thing you can do is maybe, run after some robber. There's really nothing. There's no military. There's no soldiers. But the point is, I did in my youth years of taekwondo with a South Korean master, and then I dedicate a lot of time in a sport. Could be whatever sport, but I did like almost professionally, or I would say professionally. So you have to learn to be disciplined with your meals, with your, I would say, timetable, schedule time for your workout, for your day. Be keeping a schedule, okay? So keeping like, your commitment, your goals, and try to reach them. So this kind of, I would say, mentality that for me becomes like so normal. It's something that I didn't find, that often in traders around the world, and it's something that I teach traders. So not only the technique, but the part of the mental aspect, discipline that you have to have, how to increase this. And if you don't have this discipline, I can tell you that you will blow up often in your accounts. And that just is, I would say, a summary of the process that you have to do. So Bruce said something good. We're showing over here, you know, this trend line break. I mean, it's so easy to see. Liquidity came, trend line break, and this is easy to understand. The hardest thing in your part of trading, okay, talking normal, you want to become a millionaire, is not only looking at the flow over here, the trend line break, and knowing and setting up a strategy. That's 50% of the equation, maybe even less. The other part is you. That's the reason why I always say you have to work with a mentor. I mean, if I want to become a good Taekwondo martial artist, and trust me, I was never gifted, okay, was never gifted, but I had such good commitment and passion and such a great master. He's the first one in the world right now. Mr. Chong Gonso is the first one. He's the best of the best. And I had the opportunity to study with him 6 years, but he was tough. He was not coming to me and say, hey, Joe, let's do this together. He was tough, very severe. But he gave me so much imprinting and discipline that now I thank him, and this is even to my father, because I can see now the results that I'm having in life. So if you don't have that mental approach, then trading won't work, and nothing else in your life where it requires discipline.
All right, there we go. There we have it. It's funny that you mentioned this, and like just a very easy kind of knee-jerk reaction or anecdote here is from reading Jesse Livermore's reminiscence of a stock operator. And don't roll your eyes, everybody. I mean, but it's the same stuff over and over again. I think he was so had things down to such a kind of method or pattern that when he had a car back in the day, and that having a motor car was not a lot of people had, and it was an expense. But there was still traffic, and there was cops at this middle of the intersection. Well, they would see his car coming, and they would actually kind of schedule the timing of the light around him. But it was always because the timing was precise. It was always like within like 5 seconds or something, his car would be passing through that intersection, and they knew it. It was like, so just every aspect of his life was also as disciplined.
I believe that is, I mean, you need also to stress off and chill a little bit. You cannot be only like, charts and being super, I would say, precise every single time, but in work you have to be it. In trading you have to be it. So let's look over here. Okay, right now what you can see over here, I want to explain the last thing about Bookmap today. I believe this is a good concept that I'm going to tell you. So we are in an uptrending market, okay? So trend is up over here. We had a distribution pattern. This is a wedge. So remember this, when I'm looking at a wedge or a bear flag or anything that involves that I start taking a position on the break of that area, it will not really work if you won't have a retest of that level. What do I mean? Now, I'm not really looking right now if this is going to be reversed all the way down. I'm looking at the setup itself. So when we had this break over here of this pattern, I started looking at Bookmap, what it's doing over here. So I started seeing more sellers, and you can see this dump over here, right? This dump at 720, it is this dump over here that you see, this trend line break. But at the same time, I won't enter over here rather than a feeler, because often these breakouts or breakdowns will be fake outs. And how to avoid them? So wait for a retest. In this case, if you see over here, we have some liquidity, 723 resistance, okay, over here. So you know that the worst case scenario, that's your stop. Now you see another level, jump in over here. So new seller at 722, this area over here, okay? And now you see that we went to this area over here at 721, and immediately you start to see sellers. So once we crack that level over here, so once you reject this area, right? The 720.50, that's my short. And now saying this, I'm looking only at the seller jumping in. So setups like this, you have maybe 20, 30, 40 in a day on different products. And they work pretty good, okay? We get back to the previous question, the previous statement, don't overtrade. So select your trade, select the best environment, select the best scenario. But this is a setup that for me is pretty easy. I mean, anybody can learn this, okay? And that's a trade. That's a trade. So we just said this, and now you simply hold it, put a stop loss, trail. That's it. Okay. So pattern over here of rejection of a chart pattern. That is. Bruce, any questions?
I'm looking and answering one just at the moment here. Let's see. No, I think we're pretty caught up.
Okay. So we'll post this. And from a small, okay, personally, I didn't take this. I was talking. I'm not in the mood anymore to trade new positions. But we explained this, right, just now. And look what it's paying. It's already $5 plus from the entry point. Thank you very much, Scotty. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Joseph, that kind of brings up another point. I mean, like, talking about discipline, and I'm not trying to like pin you down here, but just to hear you say like, I don't feel like trading it.
Yeah, because I'm very hungry.
I mean, some of the best traders I've ever seen, like, they are at the desk no matter what, and they're trading no matter what, or at least watching. Maybe, I mean, you did mention this before that you reach your, your targets, and you don't want to, not be sharp, so you take a break, you stay away from it. But
Yeah.
other than that, you're there and you take it.
Oh, yes. I can tell you last week I did 75 hours of work.
Yeah, I'm not.
70?
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that you're,
No, I
that you're
mean
not.
75 hours of work on the market last week. 14 of these were on the weekend. So I had an incredible last week. So this Sunday I could have relaxed. This Saturday I could have relaxed. No. You want to get better at your job, you have to evolve. So you have to analyze every single thing that not only you traded, because if you simply we're stuck with something that we traded, we'll never improve. We have to analyze every single stock that we intend to trade. For example, you trade big caps. Okay, look all the main 5-10 stocks that, for example, we trade, and then look all the chart pattern that we had on different time frames, and analyze that. Analyze what the market is doing, because this is the only way that you can improve. You have to back test, you have to track, and then you have to practice. So if I did that, and few of the mentor students that I mentored that are up like pretty good for July, they did it. I mean, I don't see why other traders shouldn't do it if they want to become like millionaires or successful traders or professional traders. Okay, so that's my point, that if you do things in a way that you are looking to evolve and improve your level of trading, then yes, you will make it. Okay, no matter how many times you will have losses, how many times you will suffer, how many times you will blow up, eventually you will. But if you don't put that work, okay, if you stay on the Saturday and Sunday, or your evenings you have to go out with your boyfriend, girlfriend, or your dog, then you can forget it. Trading is hard, and I'm not here to give the sweet pill or give me like a hug on your shoulder. I'm pretty tough as mentor, but that's the reason why my members are doing good numbers, because they're learning. That's the main point. So Bruce, sorry if I have to be like this, but you know, in my way of working, there's no place for mediocrity.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is what I'm the point I'm trying to drive at, and you know, you read it in the books, and they say, like, you know, one of the main stumbling blocks for traders is complacency. It's just like, oh, I don't really, you know, want to trade today, or like, you know, it's a nice day, I'm gonna go out, or you know, whatever. And they have the flexibility, maybe monetarily, to not trade, and they just miss all sorts of things. And they're not really a trader. I mean, they're just kind of a hobbyist more.
I mean, it's fine. That is somebody's, like, you know, personal goal, just to make a few money, a few hundred, that's fine. But if you want to become, you know, do this job, leave your job, do this job full time, then you have to really change the mentality.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
All right, so our trade is going down over here. So good analysis. As I said, traders start to look at this pattern. So a new pattern introduced today for you, rejection of chart pattern. Bruce, 11:30. Let's wrap it up over here. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good. There was something I wanted to yeah, let me put in here. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get to it now. Let me put into the chat here your mentorship links, etc. If anyone's interested in reaching out to Joseph, you guys have them. Okay, so there we go. You've got his email and his website, Twitter, YouTube, etc. So if you're interested in Joseph's services, you can see he's an excellent trader. We like what he does very much, and yeah, reach out.
All right, traders. So thank you very much. In the meantime, let's continue to follow IS, because it's finally fading below that main support 325. So ideally, we will see 315 and then 290. If not, personally, I'm going to trail 50% of what I have left as position at 335. So this area over here, where is the last high volume level. Again, thank you, Bruce, for being over here. Thank you, all traders, to join us. Also, put thumbs up, please, in the video. It really helps us support the YouTube channel and the work that the guys of Bookmap are doing. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. See you next time. If you have questions, reach out. Bye-bye.